The Sims 4 team just confirmed over 150 community-focused hotfixes coming to The Sims 4 in the next update on Tuesday, November 4th. If you're new here, hi, I'm Christy, and this is the Cozy Cutie Club, where I like to post Sims 4 gameplay, challenges, and tips. Now let's get into the video. I am so excited to go through this with you guys. They posted a whole blog post about this and listed the entire laundry list on their website. I will include the link in my video description in case you want to check it out for yourself. But basically what they state here in the intro is just that this is part of their quality of life roadmap, and how a lot of these are going to be resolved across base game and packs ahead of the new gameplay that they are going to be sharing with us. They bolded that this isn't a one-time effort and that they are committed to continuing to address community issues. We'll see how that goes. And they encourage us players to go into the Sims 4 bug reports page and continue to report things, because I think that that is like the main source of where they are getting all these bugs from. That being said, issues in this list are in order of most voted by Simmers, which I find very interesting. And you'll see why once we get into it. The top 5 most voted fixes: identified and resolved some cases of photos turning black in inventory when taken with camera. This is a big one. I know that a lot of Sims players like to photograph their families and their households and keep those images as like mementos, and it's a big part of the like story-based gameplay. So this is huge. Unfortunately, it only applies to new saves only. Sabotage interaction is no longer available on objects without completing Deviant's aspiration. I did not know that this was a thing. I didn't know that you couldn't sabotage if you had not completed the Deviant's aspiration, or if this is like a new addition. That honestly is not really a big deal to me, so it's kind of interesting to see that it is one of the top 5 most voted. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding it. When the mixologist is in conversation with NPCs, they'll break out of it if a drink order is queued up and be more responsive. This is a big one. It's very frustrating that the mixologists or NPCs in general are just not very good at their jobs. So I'm very happy to see this. Children should now more clearly inherit some features from their parents. This is huge. This is huge. Genealogy. We have been wanting this. We have wanted this so bad. Oh my God. So it says here, there may still be some variation, in parentheses. A child's nose may be slightly wider than their parents', for example, but you should be able to see distinct features passed down between generations. And then this is an example. If both parents have large ears, the child probably will too. It's missing the closed parentheses. That's okay. That's just the proofreader in me. This is interesting. I would like to see how it is being implemented into gameplay, actually, but very exciting. And the last of the top 5 is relationship decay after having a baby was too fast and was destroying relationships. It has been slowed. This is very interesting. I did not experience this, but I would be so freaking frustrated if I was experiencing this. TBH, in real life, this probably does happen to relationships, because babies are a lot. It's good to see that it's been addressed in The Sims. So now we're going to move on to the base game. I don't know that we're going to be able to cover all the fixes here, but I think at the very least, if we can cover the base game, that would be great. Sit up milestone now properly unlocks and displays after traveling. That's great. We like to hear that the milestones are displaying properly. Anything related to milestones, aspirations, wants, things like that are priority for me, because I want to make sure that like I'm playing my game in the way that I want and like fulfilling my Sims like lives. And sometimes you can't properly do that if things are not checking off. Okay, second one, Sims won't use their phone when in the water or jogging. Take vacation days only given to the Sim if their next shift is within the next 24 hours. This means that some careers often have 1 to 3 days free, so Sims must wait until the last day in order to request that vacation day. When the option is not available, it is now grayed out with a tooltip explaining it's only available 24 hours before the next shift. This one is very interesting to me because I don't quite understand why it's so important. Like, I understand that you don't want to be able to take a vacation day and have it be wasted on a day that you're not even supposed to be working, but I don't know why you would do that. Like, I think if it were me, I would just literally wait until the day before the next work day to request it. The fact that this needed to be a fix, I don't know, you know, I'm not fully there with the reasoning behind it, but if other simmers wanted it, who am I to say? This one I'm very excited about too. Sims put books, foods, and drinks into their intended inventories, i.e. bookshelf, fridge, respectively, instead of more random inventories. I love this. This is something that I feel like they need to dive into deeper. Just things that would make a lot more sense for Sims to be doing autonomously, because they do a lot of things autonomously, and I just want them to do things that make a little more sense. So I like this. Random Sims will no longer enter the home without knocking when using sliding doors. Aspirations no longer default to the first one when looking at or switching to another. This is interesting. I don't usually switch aspirations in my households because I take very long to complete aspirations. So I haven't experienced this, but that sounds really frustrating, so I'm glad that they're fixing it. Fixed issue where infants were being placed near a crib or playmat instead of remaining in it if the player travels to a different lot with a sim and returns. That's very annoying. Anything related to infants, to be honest, is annoying. And I literally want them to dedicate an entire update to infants and toddlers. Please. Excessive wants are no longer generated from music when there are other categories of preferences. I don't necessarily understand this fully. Like when there are other categories of preferences, like if what? Like if there's furniture likes and style likes, like is that what that means? Or yeah, I don't know. I do know my Sims get a lot of wants related to music and it annoys the shit out of me. Mischief interactions between Sims who both like mischief can now properly succeed. This was happening only with Get Famous installed and that has now been fixed. Dance to stereo music wants are now fulfilled when Sims dance using earbuds. Okay, cool. Sims will no longer autonomously perform grab a drink interaction with Tea Magical Personal Brewer. This is incredible. For how long have our Sims been grabbing random drinks from the Tea Magical Personal Brewer or whatever the heck? For how long? Resolved an exception that triggered while putting the baby in the crib, leading to infant resetting and laying on the floor outside of crib. Okay, first of all, a lot of these are worded weirdly. I don't know if it's just my comprehension, okay, but I'm struggling a little bit. Again, anything related to babies, infants, and toddlers, I am fully on board. Infants can now acquire the little babbler trait. Okay, whatever. Energized interactions will appear for energized Sims on all showers, including locker room showers. Fixing cast applied makeup color swatch selection to be consistent on swapping items with the one that is highlighted. Oh, this is a good one. I'm assuming that this is related to if you switch from one lipstick to another and you already had a custom color hue going on, that it's going to automatically be applied to the one that you switch to. If that's what this is, I'm very glad to see it. Toddlers with 4 or 5 movement skill will no longer walk as if they have lower movement skill while in certain moods. This doesn't really do much for me. Okay, cool. Sims will stop wearing hats while in their nude outfit. But what if they want to wear a hat while they're nude? When Sim goes to work, all the newborn infant toddler will be sent to daycare. Adoption events and pregnancy events were blocking this and now be resolved. Okay, honestly, the typos are killing me, but it's fine. Not important. That's not what this is about. Nannies and butlers will perform their duties more often and regularly. They will check if they need to perform duties every 30 minutes instead of every 4 hours. This is good. However, I can see how that can potentially get annoying every 30 minutes. Also, I wonder, I don't know this, but do nannies and butlers have variation in terms of their work ethic? Because I would imagine not every nanny and not every butler is dedicated to their work, So I don't know. Firefighters can fit into unroutable errors to better fight fires. Right. Soulmate is now added when the friendship romantic track is full. The bug was caused when the friendship value was not updated in the romance relationship and assigned the wrong relationship bit. In existing saves, Sim can now be soulmates if they lower their friendship romantic value and raise it again to achieve the soulmate status. Aspiration goals will no longer reset when Sim travels to another lot. You switch to another Sim at home and then perform bring here interaction on the first Sim. Again, anything related to aspirations, very helpful. I wasn't experiencing that, but that sounds extremely annoying. Excessive townies will no longer generate every time the computer is used. We adjusted a filter for style influencers that was generating new Sims if you had not met a style influencer. That sounds ridiculous. I had no idea that this was going on in the back end. What? Just wait until I meet a style influencer. What the heck? Mood that's related to fear will not trigger after the fear of dark trait is removed. Yeah, okay. I would much rather just not have so many of my Sims be afraid of the dark or afraid of the water. That happens way too often. Fixed cases where NPC Sims wear random weather outfits. which they don't own. This means I don't really care for this. I don't know. Trash from all inside trash cans will now be emptied and dumped to the outdoor trash can. Maid sim with need trait will no longer get stuck in grill cleaning loop. Why does this sound hilarious? And why didn't I get to experience it? Cast categories excluding tattoos and pets will again show all content from their subcategories. A previous update was made to the cast menu to support the new tattoo arcs. The change also caught several other categories, causing them to only show one subcategory at a time, unlike their usual behavior of showing all categories at once. I don't understand this. Listen to genre-specific music wants are now fulfilled when Sims listen to music through earbuds. This was happening to me a lot, and it was so frustrating, and I kept thinking, like, is my game bugged? Like, is it a mod? What's going on? And I know it sounds little, but my Sims get so many wants related to music that I need to check them off as quickly as possible so we can move on. Sims can only woohoo in steam rooms that are indoors and not broken. They will stop unsuccessfully attempting outdoors. Trash will be present in the world and on community lots, and trash cans can properly be rummaged. Thank you. My Sims need to rummage. Sims needs should now gain more consistently while they are low at work, school, while you are playing on a different lot. This doesn't really bother me. I actually don't think that my Sims needs should be being that taken care of when they're at work or school. Like, yes, a little bit. Obviously, like, if they're at school or work, realistically, they do go to the bathroom, they do eat lunch and whatever. But other than that, I don't feel like their needs should be that taken care of. I'm not saying that that's what this means. I'm just giving my opinion. Complete an aspiration with the child sim goal now completes properly in Alien Stole My Parents scenarios. That is it for the base game updates. I don't think we can cover all of the updates because this is going to take a while. Glass wall pattern styles for Greenhouse Haven Kit and Life and Death glass roofs. We will take any and all new patterns and styles, especially when they're glass walls or roofs. Nanny's Gardeners, another typo, killing me. Nanny's Gardeners ranch hand will no longer return immediately after dismissing or firing them. This is good. Cafeteria workers will now show up as expected. Yeah. I just love it when things work like they're supposed to work. Skills from Adventure Awaits can no longer be increased in university sit-in on skill class interaction without the pack installed. That's insane that was even possible. Child sim legs will no longer show a wrinkled texture when wearing that's sounds cursed as heck. I have not really played with Adventure Awaits even though I bought it, but it sounds like there were a lot of very crucial things going on that they needed to fix. When the limit fairies to in-screen option is enabled, fairy sim should not autonomously appear. Yes. Absolutely. I was seeing this happen. Very good. Most fairy eye colors are now available for infant, toddler, or child sims. Ooh. If Sims is on cooldown from a cured ailment, Pixies won't be able to immediately add it back. Thank goodness. Don't get me started on ailments. Death by pufferfish, death by overheating, and death by freezing death types are now available for child sim in CAS. Oh, damn. Woohoo with Grim will no longer get canceled. This is happening because of an incompatibility with Grim Reaper. This happened to me. Stop it right now. I feel exposed. For rent in bill section will no longer show 0 and tenants will now be able to pay rent. That sounds like a big one. Changing a penthouse lot type to residential rental will not result in white screen asserts or an infinite loading screen. I think I would rage quit. Tenant agreement remaining lease duration will no longer revert and freeze when Sim travels somewhere and then returns to home lot. Oh my god, why was For Rent so messed up? Dude, can we talk about why For Rent was so broken? And probably, if this is just what was fixed, I can't imagine how many bugs are not fixed. I don't really play with For Rent that much, so I'm like shocked right now. Mini goats and sheep will no longer be able to use the gate when it is locked. Why were they able to use it if it was locked? Sims will no longer receive random milestone movelets without achieving the milestone. That would piss me off. Temporary stay guests will now sleep, even in sleeping bags. Oh my god! Egg will no longer spoil while incubating it to hatch. Wow. Fixed cases where there would be no pop-up option to join school or send alone when teens should be going to school. Oh my god! Thank goodness! The science fair judge shows up when expected and stays for the duration of the science fair festival event. Bro, the amount of Sims that just don't show up to do what they're supposed to do. Sims can travel to a community space that has been updated to a makerspace without experiencing crashes or error codes. Yay! Admiring ghosts and occult Sims will count for a holiday spooky spirit. Ooh, yay. Father Winter now gives toddlers a gift, even if they've not officially met. Wait, this is such a good one. I love this one. Ooh, look, one for console. Now be able to enter dog, cat, breed names for the pets adopted from neighborhood stories. Decrease the time duration range of taking dogs on long and medium walks. This was happening to me. It was so annoying. And if I choose short walk, my Sims go to like one spot and just stand there. But if I choose medium walk, they actually do walk. Sim and dog will now autonomously exit the go on walk interaction before reaching mode of failure. Thank you. They just walk forever and ever. Why do they do that? Dance interaction is now present again on DJ booth objects when a DJ is playing. How did that disappear? Why? Alien Sims will no longer repeatedly wipe out the memory of their spouse autonomously. Stop. That's so bad, but so funny. Sims can now check off restaurant-related goals on a date. Thank you! So overall, I would say like the base game updates were a little bit disappointing. I think some of them were great, but for the most part, I felt a lot of them were unimpactful, at least for my gameplay. Like the vacation day one, that one seems more like player error or player style versus like a bug. But either way, I'm glad that they released a ton of updates. So I'm curious to see from base game players what they think about this laundry list, because it seems to me like majority of the bugs included in this are DLC related, and I don't know if that means that base game doesn't have a ton of bugs to fix, or if that means that they are prioritizing DLC fixes, or what. So let me know what you think down in the comments, and if you want me to cover more Sims 4 related news and updates like this in the future, and I most certainly will. Thank you so much for hanging out at the Cozy Cutie Club. I will see you all in the next one. Bye!